Praise God. I want to welcome you for this video. I want to teach you how marriage has changed my salvation completely. I found that when I am in marriage, I'm more saved, or my salvation is growing stronger when I am in marriage compared to when I was single. That's why a marriage can help you enter heaven, or a marriage can make you enter hell. But as for me, marriage has been a blessing to me because marriage has helped me, has made me strong in salvation. I found more strength in marriage. So marriage has impacted positively in my life as a born again Christian. It has really impacted to me positively compared to when I was single, when before I got married, or when I was single and I was staying alone. I was not most born again the way I am born again now. That's why I want to tell you how marriage can impact to your salvation positively if it is a marriage that God has ordained, if it is your marriage, or if it is a marriage that God has purpose for you to enter into. I can tell you my testimony that marriage has impacted on my salvation positively. I have seen my salvation growing very positively in marriage than when I was single. And I'm going to tell you how this salvation has impacted to me positively than when I was single. Because when I entered into marriage, I was married to a born again man, and this man, when it comes to the things of God, it must be number one in the things of God. When it comes to the things of God are taken with so much gravity compared to other things. Concerning dressing, this man is so much concerned with how I dress when I leave the house and when I come back. He's so much concerned. That's why I dress like this every day. I am a teacher, but I go to school with a long coat and a long dress, and there is no day I have changed that system of dressing decently with a long coat, not a short coat. Remember, a long coat. I dress like that, and it is because of marriage, because of my husband. My husband, I know I used to dress decently. Yes, I could just dress long dresses even when I was alone. I really loved long dresses. I could just dress them. But I realized that this man pushes me to do more than that. He pushes me to dress better than how I used to dress when I was single. That's why I say that some marriages can push you to God, or there are some that are they will draw you away from God. But I want to tell you, my marriage has made me drawn to God closer, because this man is so concerned about how I dress when I leave the house, and even when I come back from my workplace, he must check and confirm, have I really dressed the way I'm supposed to dress? And if I put on short coats, he will be warning me every time. He will tell me there's a person that the man of God saw wore wearing a wife of a bishop. He had worn a short coat, and God was not happy about that. That's why my husband keeps reminding me that when you wear a short coat, there is a bishop's wife, who the one man of God had saw. I'd seen her wear a short coat during the work hours, during the weekdays, but on Sundays, that bishop wife wears long coats. So the man of God was referring to these Christians who are not steadfast, who are not really truth to their salvation, who are lukewarm, or who are not as per to the standards of the Lord. That's why my marriage has kept me on toes. I really need to know that when I'm leaving the house, I'm supposed to wear a long coat. I cannot come out of the house with a short coat. It has put me on toes. And that is why this marriage has drawn me closer to God, because the more I dress decently, or the more I do the acts of holiness and righteousness, that is the more I draw closer to God. That's why I tell you, there are some marriages that are going to make very many people enter heaven, but there are some that are going to make very many people go to hell. That's why I want to advise somebody who wants to enter into marriage. Marry somebody of the same faith. Somebody, if you are a believer, marry a believer. Don't marry a non-believer, because if you are a believer and you marry a non-believer, obviously a non-believer will tell you not to go to church. How will you go about crying to people and saying, my man tells me not to go to church? People will ask you, did you marry a believer? And then you say, no, I married a non-believer. That is the biggest mistake that very many people do when they are entering into marriage. If you want to make the right decision or the right thing into enter into marriage, if you are a believer, go ahead and marry a believer. And you must marry somebody you are in the same faith with. You must marry somebody you are in the same faith. Don't marry somebody that you don't belong in the same faith with, because this person will pull you down. When you marry a non-believer, it's like you are on top of a stand, you are on top of a table. When you are born again, you are on top of a table. And this person who is not born again, he's down, he's standing down, you're on top of a table. So it is very easy for that person who is standing down to pull you down. It is very easy, because when you are on top and somebody is down and then that person pulls you, it's very easy for you to go down. That's why it's very easy for somebody who is a believer to go down when he marries an unbeliever. And I don't want to discourage you now that you entered into a marriage with a non-believer. I don't want you to quit that marriage, because you are already there. You have already fallen. You are already fallen. So maybe through your faith, you are going to help this other person to be born again, because you have already fallen by marrying an unbeliever. So you don't need to quit. You're supposed to remain there, but you need to do more work, because through your faith, through your salvation, you are going to help this person to know God, and you need to work. You are going to sacrifice a lot, because this person is not born again. So you are going to do extra work. You are going to work tirelessly. And if you quit that marriage, you are not going to solve the situation, but you're going to worsen the situation. But I want to encourage these people who are believers in the house of the Lord. When you want to marry somebody from your church, somebody you belong in the same faith. For example, I was in this church and my husband was in this church. So we got married, people of the same church, of the same faith. We know what our faith entails us. We know the message that we need to know at this hour. That's why if you marry somebody, who is not in the same faith with you, in the same church with you, it will be hard for you to stand in Christianity. You will start complaining. You start saying, look, it is this husband who has made me not to walk in salvation. I really want to get born again, but it is this man who has drawn me away from the Lord. That's why I can tell you that marriage, for me, it has impacted positively on my salvation. It has really impacted to me positively, in a certain way that if I quit marriage, then I am not born again. Or in a way that if I just say that I'm quitting marriage, then I'm just telling myself that salvation now is over. Because there are some things that this man instilled in my marriage. There are some things that this man impacted in my marriage positively. But I don't say that all those believers who get married to a believer, that marriage will draw them closer to God. But because I have seen there are believers who have gotten marriage, but when you look at their marriage, when it concerns salvation, you find that their salvation is lukewarm. Yes, they are believers. Two of them, they have married each other, but they are living a lukewarm Christian way. But I'm talking about these two believers who are serious with the things of God. I'm talking about this marriage. You have gotten marriage to a believer who is so much serious with the work of God, who is serious with the things of God. I'm talking about this believer. That is how that marriage can draw you closer to God. If you are a believer who is serious with the work of God. That's why my marriage has impacted on me positively than the negatively, because I got married to somebody. We are in the same faith, we are in the same church. So this marriage impacted me positively because I was able. There are some things that this man could tell me to leave, and because God was working in me, God, day by day, God helped me to lead them, because this man, when it comes to serving God, he is serious. He can even rebuke you in the church if you are doing the wrong thing. It doesn't matter, you are his wife, he will rebuke you. Be blessed.